Set Reiki, a podcast about Reiki, this universal energy life force. From the curious beginner to the master seasoned teacher, we welcome all systems, all lineages, and all levels. Reiki is a journey and not a destination. And on this Ready, Set Reiki journey, we refer to ourselves as guides rather than hosts, as we too are traveling, supporting, and learning on this Reiki journey as well. And with that said, I am your guide, Tracy Seawright. Today I will be guiding you alone on this journey. Is Millie here in spirit? Well, maybe not, because she's going on vacation to Cancun. But needless to say, the journey must continue. And with that said, I want to invite you to a wonderful guest to listen that today and basically every day, she wants you to live your most extraordinary destiny. And that is Teresa Wornstaff. She is an influential catalyst for graceful change. She was born a highly level intuitive, and she has cultivated her intuitive skills of knowing and channeling so she can tap into your soul and guide you to manifest a life of purpose, design, and desire. She is an authentic conduit to the soul's wisdom and empowers your connection to clarity and a deep personal relationship with your soul and the universe. Complementing her deep intuition, she has over 30 years of corporate, 20 years spent consulting businesses, large and small, coaching and mentoring individuals throughout their transition. And she brings a trifecta of experience, expertise in business, life, and intuition. So you will grow your intuition as she provides practical tips, tools, and energetic codes that support your personal clarity and power. Welcome, Teresa, to Ready, Set, Reiki.
Oh, thank you, Tracy. I'm so excited to be here. I think today's conversation is going to be powerful, and I hope that your audience feels a shift with our collaboration.
Wonderful. I love that. So we're beginning our journey. I told our listeners a little bit about yourself. So tell us about yourself.
You know, I was born intuitive. I came into this world wide open, and it was very, very confusing for me because I was born into a Muggle family and didn't have the context for these multiple streams of information that were coming in. I saw, I hear, I know, I feel, I sense, and it was disconcerting as a child to be listening to a parent, a teacher, an adult, and they would tell you something and you would feel the energy first, because that's our first sense, right? We feel it. And we determine, is this for me? Is this accurate? And there were times when I would be astonished that this adult was misleading me or being misled or outright lying to serve their purpose. So mine has been a very, very different, different journey on becoming friends with my intuition and energy. I spent many years suppressing it, and that's how I ended up in corporate. And through that journey, it wasn't until, I'd say my 30s, when I had children, that I sought out other wisdoms. I happened to trip into Reiki. Reiki was my doorway into the greater world of energy. And when I followed that prompt, I learned that there were a lot of people like me. And there's a lot of information, and that what I do and who I be is on purpose. There's a reason for it. So those years in corporate, my weekends and evenings were spent in a search, on the hunt for a deeper connection within. It's a little bit different than most people. And I wouldn't change a thing. You always end up tripping into the thing that most wants your attention.
Right, right. And that beautifully goes into our next question about, did Reiki find you or did you find Reiki? Tell us how it came into your life.
Yeah. So it's very interesting. I opened my own business doing consulting. And as I was, my ex-husband and I were lying in bed, just chatting, just goofing off in the afternoon, transitioning between one activity and another. And I drew this symbol. I know. And I thought, wow, I wonder, well, that has to have some meaning. And we were talking about my business. So I thought, okay, this has to be a precognitive moment for me. What am I saying? And it ended up being Raku, which is completion, right?
Yes.
And so when I tripped into the Reiki class, which was a community class that was offered, and I saw the Raku symbol, I thought, wow, I think somebody's trying to tell me something. So off I tootled to my Reiki class to learn what this was all about.
Wonderful, wonderful. And how wonderful is you had a nice sign to lead you on this journey, right? I love it.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
I found that I often tell people as a Reiki teacher that there are things in that manual they may have done their whole life. They just didn't have a name for it. So as I
Yes.
had gone on to different systems, there were symbols that I was drawing as a child that I didn't know their purpose. So
Isn't that amazing?
it
It,
is.
it it's that reminder that we're infinitely wise
Hmm.
when we get out of our when we take the brain and the
Right,
thoughts and put them to the side.
right.
Yeah, I love that for you, Tracy.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
beautiful, beautiful. So you have been in this field for a while. Tell us, what is a common misperception about your work?
You know, um, I would say the most common misperception is the channeling. So I dropped into channeling very strongly in through COVID. We're all isolated and I happen to live alone. And so I had a lot of time to play in my own energy. And I started channeling. And many people believe that you abdicate autonomy over your body and your mind and your emotions and your senses, and somebody else takes over. And that's true for some people. It's not for me. Channeling comes in many, many, many flavors. For me, channeling is opening my doors to receive the wisdom that most wants to be known. Now, my I have a few specialties or areas where I'm stronger. And that is being able to tap into my client's soul so they can send information to me that they want their their human being to know for their next evolution, similar to universal wisdom. And the other piece is the ability to, thank you, um, to bring in energy codes and quantum fields to support the evolution of those who are in attendance and those who are paying attention to what most wants to come in for them. And these codes, these quantum fields come in and they do several things. They are integrated in the moment for your enlightenment, and they are stored for opening at a later date for your evolution when you are ready to step into what is next for you. It is one of the gifts that Teresa holds, is this ability to bring in these energy codes. You see, nothing can come to Earth planet unless it has a human host. Free will means we, as your guides, as your mentors, as your support team, cannot force information to you. it must be willingly received. And then there are those on this planet who disseminate this information, and that is one of Teresa's gifts.
Beautiful. I love that. Love that. Thank you for sharing that.
You're welcome. And as you see, you just open the channels,
Mm-hmm.
and it makes me cry because that's part of the human evolution. You know, the moment when you see your brilliance, the moment when you recognize that you are truly, truly amazing in all those mental belief systems, the BS.
Right.
I didn't coin that, but my friend did. And you let that go.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And
You just
life
have to
becomes,
trust the process. Trust the process. Let it unfold beautifully.
yes, exactly. Yes.
Wonderful. Beautiful. Thank you for sharing that. So, as you are continuing on this journey and being divinely guided, what is the biggest challenge this industry is facing today?
I believe that our greatest challenge is the misperception that this internal being cannot coexist with other beliefs, that you abdicate who you are and what you are and what your heart desires, and you have to conform to a way of believing and thinking and being. And yet, nothing is more further from the truth. It's actually the authentic unfolding of your soul's expression in human body.
I love that. That's what I was thinking of when you were talking. It's that true, authentic nature
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
being
And
oneself.
yep, you got it.
Love it. Love it. So you've been on this journey, corporate for 30 years, working with companies, small and large. What is one thing you wish your younger self knew about your current profession?
Um, it's so interesting because I have two answers. One is I wouldn't change a thing because I wouldn't be who I am
Of course.
today, right? And secondly, I think the thing that I wish I knew, that I think I knew, but I kind of didn't acknowledge, was that every time I made a business decision, every time I made a shift in operations or training or hiring or whatever it was, that it was intuitively guided, that I acknowledged that it was my gifts that were driving the decision, because it was optimal for not only myself and my team, but the company as a whole. So when I look at the energy of a company, it is very similar to the energy systems of an individual person. You have a bubble, that's your company. You have layers of energy as they come into the concentrated whole. And each role in the company feeds specific information into those layers. So I guess I wish I'd known more about that.
Right. Working for the collective, so to
Yeah.
speak. Yeah.
Yep.
Just a small piece of a beautiful puzzle.
Yes.
Wonderful.
Yes.
Wonderful. So, when it is time for you to get your spiritual tune up, what are some qualities that you look for in a Reiki practitioner?
Somebody who's connected, who's not, who's heart centered, someone who is someone who understands that financial well-being and abundance is an outcome, not a goal, and who will collaborate and listen. I have inherent wisdom, and it wants to be heard as we collaborate in my well-being.
Beautiful. Beautiful. I love that. Now,
Thank you.
being so wise and experienced, what advice would you give to someone who is just entering this profession?
Trust yourself. You really know more than you think you do. And Reiki is this beautiful energy construct. And you bring your inherent wisdom, and together you have a specific flavor of how you deliver Reiki. You're not wrong. So if you are drawn to do something, say something, run this energy, bring in that color, bring in that tone, sing, whatever it is that you want to do with the Reiki is perfect for you. Trust yourself.
I love that. I always say that as well. Just trust the process. There's no wrong way to do it. What you do is going to be absolutely perfect for that particular client or student. So
Yes.
wonderful. Love that. So, what is some books that you recommend? And they don't necessarily have to be Reiki. It's something that you have inspired you on your journey.
Thank you. So the top recommendation, as a matter of fact, I recommended it again this morning in my trust circle, is Anita Morjani's Sensitive is the New Strong. And here's why. We are all empaths. Every human on the planet is an empath. What this book does is it gives you context and tools to navigate your empathy. You have highly sensitive people and empaths who cannot be in huge crowds. They just can't. It's too overwhelming. And then you have the less sensitive people, and this gives both spectrums, both sides of the spectrum, tools to become familiar and friendly with this sense.
Beautiful. I'm going to definitely have to check that out.
It's well, and it's incredibly well written. It's simple. It's easy to read, easy to listen to if you do audios. To me, that makes a difference. For me, I pick up books, and the first thing I do is I just close my eyes and feel the energy of the book. Is this for me? And if it's not, I put it down. I trust that.
Wonderful.
So,
Wow, thank you for sharing that technique. I'm going to have to give that
you're
a
welcome.
try.
Yeah.
Love it. So tell us all about the services you offer and other modalities. I heard Trust Circle there that you had mentioned.
Mhm.
So let our listeners know what you have to offer.
Well, thank you for the opportunity. I have a trust circle that I run every Tuesday morning at 9 a.m. Pacific, and it's free. It is a collaborative community that comes in and lifts up and supports each other. I also have a podcast that is, it started in March. The universe said, you really need to share the wisdom of other people with your audience. And so I started this podcast on YouTube, and it's grown. I have a series of teachings that I provide on this podcast around how to create clarity and grow your intuition, know what your intuition is. I also teach about energy systems. We learn about our body. We know where the liver is, we know where the ears are, but we don't know our energy systems. So I also teach that. And then the third leg of the podcast, which is called Soul Channel, is called Mystic Messages, where you, my audience, and anybody who is interested or wants can send me a question. I go into channel and my moderator asks me questions while I'm in channel, and I answer them. So I've gotten questions from Instagram and Facebook and email. And so right now for me, the podcast is very vital. It's very important that this information get out to as many people as possible. I also coach one-on-one, and I have programs, and for anybody interested in finding a mentor, a guide, I'm there for them. And Finally, I have 2 classes that I channeled, one in March of 2021, and that is called Ignite Your Passion. And it is a specific formula for you to learn what your purpose on this planet is and how to step into it. And it's 6 weeks. The second program, masterclass that I offer is called The Alchemy of an Intentional Life. This was channeled in the Lionsgate of last year, 2023. Yes. And it's a 6-month intensive that moves you through how to step into the deepest parts of who you are, your purpose. There are, again, specific formula of learnings that I take you through, but overlaid is I hold you in a bubble of energy, and we work energetically on elevating your way of being so that you become more self-empowered. So
Beautiful. How can they get in touch with you? Do you have a
yes,
website? And do you offer classes online as well?
I do have classes online, manifestation and how to find your brilliance and intuition, as well as meditations. I have a free one and several that you can buy. You can learn about me on my website at Teresa, Teresa, Wornstaff, WORNSTAFF.com. And you can email me through the website or at teresawornstaff.com.
Beautiful. And is your trust circle in person or online?
Yes, it's online. As a matter of fact, my audience is global. I have people
Wonderful.
from Europe, from Asia, although it's very, very early for them.
That's a
And
testament that they're getting up early for you. They're
yeah,
showing up and
thank
doing
you.
the work. So take that as a compliment.
Thank you.
Is there anything else that you want our listeners to know? Uh,
I think we've talked a lot about how amazing each individual is. And I think in the context of that, we have 2 mandates as souls who've incarnated in these human bodies. First is be your best self, to elevate and continue to grow. I think you say this on your introduction. It's a journey, not a destination. Keep going. And secondly, recognize that not only are you here for your own evolution, but you're important for the evolution of this planet. You have something to contribute. It could be subtle, it could be overt, but you have something that's important to our world. So I invite you to get curious and brave and step into that.
Wonderful. What a beautiful message. Thank you for sharing that with our listeners. Now, this part of our journey, I would be sending over to my co-guide, Millie Pampina, but she is off enjoying herself, getting ready for her much deserved vacation. So I am going to continue on this journey with you with the social media questions. So we have our listeners send us questions that they are interested in hoping to be asked on our show. And so I boil it down to 3 questions. So here we go. So the first question is, what is the most rewarding part of energy work?
Without question, watching somebody shift and grow and see the beauty that lies within. And you can feel it. It's palpable. It's the most amazing things to watch and to be witness.
Beautiful. It's like watching the caterpillar, right, turn into the butterfly.
Yes. Yeah. They go through all this struggle in the cocoon, and then all of a sudden they come out and their wings open, and then the breeze catches them, and there they go. What a
There they
great
go.
analogy.
I love it. All right, our second question. Have you ever had an unusual yet beautiful experience when either giving Reiki or an attunement that stands out for you?
You know, I've had several experiences that are standout moments for me. And for whatever, I had a answer prepared and I'm hearing no, they want me to share something
Okay.
else. So here we go.
That's why it's a
I went,
journey.
yeah, that's right. I I met a couple of friends at the bar after work. We're going to have a drink on a Friday evening, unwind from our week. She brought a new to us friend and he read palms. And I said, well, I run energy. I work with energy. He said, can I read your palm? The moment he touched my hand, I knew that he only had a couple of years left to live. I know, right? And in that instance, I could feel his power, and the message came back. That's okay. I know it's planned.
Wow.
Right. And this is all nonverbal, strictly the catalyst was the touch.
Mm-hmm.
And you never know what somebody's going through, what they're facing, and what they know. Honor their journey. It's not yours.
Right.
Whatever they're going through, let them go through it, love them, support them, and celebrate the courage it took to come into this human life and face the challenges that they designed for their life.
Oh, beautiful. Never underestimate the power of touch
No,
and
not at
energy.
all. Yeah.
Beautiful, beautiful. So, our third question, do you have any future projects you're working on?
I do. I am creating a series of um, programs under the banner of Create Clarity so I can teach people how to get in touch with their intuition, how to grow their intuition, how to discern what is intuition, how to communicate with the universe. And these are free. They're 2 90-minute classes. And I'm going to be launching that probably December, January, February, right around there. Because as we talked about earlier, we're not taught this. And yet it is our most powerful sense. So we should use it.
Beautiful. So that wraps up our 3 questions. Is there any last words you would like to share with our listeners?
Thank you for listening. This message has been encoded, and I hope that you receive the blessing that is waiting for you. Just say yes and step into radical self-love and self-care.
Radical kindness as well.
That too.
Well, thank you so much, Teresa, for coming on Ready, Set, Reiki. I deeply appreciate it. It has been a lovely journey with you.
Tracy, there's some people you meet and it clicks. You just know this is somebody who's in my tribe. So from the fullness of my heart, thank you for the invitation. I
Thank you.
appreciate you.
Wonderful. All right, our wonderful listeners, this has been Ready, Set, Reiki, and I have been your guide today, Tracy Seawright, and I will leave you with the tag that my co-guide, Millie Pampina, always leaves us. To see beauty is a choice, so choose wisely. If you would like to have your question on our podcast, check us out at www.readysetreiki.com or on social media. So thanks for listening. So this has been Ready, Set, Reiki.